Okay, here we go again, right? So we started this journey just looking for a nice, fun OTK with Zen. Then we had to put the theoretical max damage to test, 693 in a single turn, right? With one turn set up, we can push over 1,000. But now we have one last goal to achieve, and that is to KO the practice dummy here on Talishar. So I've gone ahead and added one more turn of setup, although I will say I have made this a bit more convoluted than it needs to be, right? Basically, the first turn, we put into play 4 amulets, right? I'm not going to tell you what the amulets are. I wanted to see if you can sort of figure them out. We're trying to work in some learnable elements into just some combo shenanigans, right? So these amulets do sort of go a decent way in improving Zen, and one of them might even have some actual competitive use, but we'll leave that be for a little bit. And then the second turn is the usual cash out, hit the crown, null rune, and the 2 daggers, so we have enough silver and gold for our cash-ins, plus a Mind State of the Tiger for 1 extra Crouching Tiger to start, and a card in the arsenal, any card of the deck, doesn't matter, right? We're taking a smaller deck so that the combo can run effectively, and I can show it off to its fullest extent, right? So we'll pass, our turn starts, we get our Crouching Tiger, and we're basically just going to cash in like usual. Go positive in hand, which is just super powerful across the board. Oh, and we got the Tenants. That works well too, since we have 2 Transcend cards. And an Art of War, right? So basically, as it is in its current iteration, there's probably every second card is equivalent to draw, right? In a proper Mystic deck, you can probably guess, and especially Ninja, 1 in 3 cards to be draw. Not positive draw, but at least cycle. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, 12 petals. This is something else that is probably, teachable if you want to actually gain something out of the shenanigans we're currently doing. So 12 petal is pretty disgusting in my honest opinion, right? Tenants is a perfect example. In the case of New and Enigma, right? This card, what does it do? How often is it positive draw? How often is it neutral draw? How often is it simply taken to cycle cards, right? Now, what about Zen? Ask the same question. Off of 1 Transcend card and 12 petal, this is always positive draw, right? If it's not neutral draw, it's float 2 resources. Plus then, again, 12 petal. So that's extra resource. That's 3 resources to then use silver, use gold, use tome and mage master, use 3 Art of Wars and raw, all covered, right? 12 petal just has so many applications. And if you can get more value out of it than Tunic in a single turn, then it is definitely worthwhile and is definitely powerful. So we will Homage and Rising Sun, Setting Moon at the same time. Draw a card, put a card back. We'll hit a Roar since we should have more than enough Crouching Tigers, and I want the Predatory Strike for another reason. We'll gain our resource. So again, 1 resource, meaning we can play Tenant, pitch 1 card, and draw 3, making it positive. That's fantastic. Into more Art of Wars that, again, we now have the resources for, thanks to Transcending. Right, we have the Chi, we generated 1 resource. We can use the Sacred Art, pitch the Inner Chi, again, get the buff, get an Inner Chi back, and float the resources for Art of War. So Art of War with 12 petals right now is free, cycle 2 cards, and gain a buff. And that is, again, a super strong effect. So Art of War, banish and buff, pass. Definitely pick a Crouching Tiger from hand, draw 2 more cards. We get Preserve and Sift. So we'll do the other Art of War first, so banish and buff again. Again, targeting a Crouching Tiger. And Ancestral Harmony. All right. This might hint at what the 2 amulets are, right? So Ancestral Harmony has a use to actually extend the combo, and overall might have a decent use. So what can we do now? Well, we have Preserved Tradition, we have 1 Inner Chi, and we have Art of War. Okay, so what I'm going to do is play the Predatory Strike, let it resolve, and now use Preserved Tradition to recycle it into the deck. Done. Pass, it's on the bottom currently. We get a resource, which means we can Art of War. But we can also Zen now off of the Inner Chi to shuffle the deck, right? To make sure that Predatory Strike isn't on the bottom, because we want something else on the bottom. So we'll do that first. Zen, pitch the Inner Chi, pass, grab out our 3rd Tiger Swipe, and then from that, we have 1 resource floating from the Preserved Tradition. So again, we can Art of War for free, buff, banish, and hit a Crouching Tiger, draw 2 more. Hit the tome, so that's good. We have the Inner Chi, so Mage Master, pitch the Inner Chi, pass, play the tome, pass, draw 2. There's 4 left in deck, right? So now all we want to do is basically sift, right? Because I want to end up having Tiger Swipe on the bottom of the deck, right? You see where Ancestral Harmony comes into play here. Now, obviously, this works because we're going to empty the deck and we're going to know precisely where Tiger Swipe is. but it still has its uses, again, in conjunction with the amulets. So we'll do Sift, and then we'll just get rid of 2 Tiger Swipes, right? We won't do all 4 cards, and we're banking on, yep, perfect, hitting the last cash in to draw the 2 other cards, and the 2 Tiger Swipes are perfectly on bottom, right? We have 1 in from the Banish, we have Predatories, we have Ancestral Harmony, and we have Raw. So now we're just going to play our buffs. So Raw, Raw, and Raw, generate some more Tigers. Now we could Ancestral Harmony, but this has a different use that we're going to tackle. Rather than that, what we're actually going to use is some Tigers. So we'll play the Predatory Strikes, because it won't matter either, right? Predatory, Predatory, and the last Predatory, if I can find it. So in hand, right, the green, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. And this is where the first amulet comes into play, because now we can Crouching Tiger, and we can proc our Amulets of Assertiveness, right? So Amulet of Assertiveness gives Crouching Tiger, when this hits, banish the top card of your deck. If it's an attack action card, you may play it this turn. I have no idea why it resolved first. It hasn't hit. That's interesting. Curious. Again, no one uses amulets, so I wouldn't hold it against Talishar for not having them properly coded. But yeah, so Amulet of Assertiveness. What this does for Zen, right? The implications beyond this combo use. Think about it. This takes Crouching Tiger, a card that doesn't pressure anything, that is just straight damage, and makes it something that needs to be blocked, right? So Amulet of Assertiveness with a buffed up Crouching Tiger is now a must block, because if you run a more attack-centric deck, right, or just a combo-centric deck where you are just throwing out Tiger here or there, Amulet of Assertiveness is a +1 to whatever you're doing, to the combat chain. That is fantastic, right? Again, in terms of Tiger Swipe is probably never ever going to actually pay off, because from your opponent's perspective, they see you building up a chain of Tigers. All they're going to do is let the Tigers through and block the Tiger Swipe. Well, now in this scenario, right, I'm using this so I can play the Tiger Swipe, but in a proper competitive match, this would force your opponent to block. And again, it's possible because, again, Zen is just able to generate Crouching Tigers in hand and the Banish Zone to then play, right? You play one from the Banish Zone, doesn't impact your hand whatsoever, and you can still fulfill the detrimental condition, which is activate this ability only if you have 4 or more cards in hand, right? So the amulets across the board from Everfest have really fun, interesting effects, but they just have this really bad constraint that often, well, actually not often, have generally made them completely unusable. So in Zen, I do think Amulet of Assertiveness could be a nice, interesting pick to, again, apply pressure to the Crouching Tigers. Now, I'm just going to use both of them, since we know both Tiger Swipes and we know the bot isn't going to block, but we could, again, split them up. But nonetheless, there's our Crouching Tiger and our last 2 Tiger Swipes. So now the curiosity is, what is the other amulet, and how does Ancestral Harmony play into it? Well, before we get to that, I have a bunch of Tigers to play, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so that brings us to the last Crouching Tiger, and now we can move on to Tiger Swipe and the last amulet. Have you figured it out? So, Tiger Swipe goes onto the chain, and the amulet is the Amulets of Oblanation. Oblanation? Either way, right? Regardless of what I'm saying. What did this do? Well, it has the effect of, until the end of turn, target attack action card gains, if this would be put into the graveyard, said put to the bottom of its owner's deck. Activate this ability only if a card has entered a graveyard this turn. So as we can see, it's targeted Tiger Swipe, and again, graveyard feat, not too difficult with what we're doing. The use that we're using for it is definitely utter cheese, right? We have no cards in the deck, so this means that when the chain resolves, Tiger Swipe will go to the deck, and then that's where Ancestral Harmony comes into play, right? As 2 effects. 1, it's an action card, so it breaks the chain, meaning that, again, every card gets resolved and goes to their respective areas, right? Being the graveyard, or in this case, the deck, the Tiger Swipe, and then also banish top card of your deck. If it has a combo, you may play it this turn. So we're able to extend the combo by 2 extra Tiger Swipes thanks to this interaction. Now, would that be something to actually use? Probably not, because again, you're not going to have an empty deck that's going to go to the bottom, but it's still a fun interaction that I thought I'd show off. Now, Talishar does have it a little bit backwards, which is definitely forgivable, right? No one plays the amulet, so yeah, it shouldn't go to your deck just yet, right? Everything stays on the chain until the chain closes, right? And then they go to their fields. So technically I could Ancestral Harmony, or if we had the Amulet of Assertiveness still, I could play Tiger, then Amulet of Assertiveness to then play the Tiger Swipes and continue the chain. But I didn't want to do that, right? We're still going to be able to do 2K, but we do have to break the chain, and we'll show you exactly how that still works out. right after I get done playing the tigers. Okay, so we're on to the second tiger swipe. So again, we will let resolve, play the amulets, pass, have it target it, and then it will return to our deck. Again, should be when the chain link or when the chain completely closes, but then more tigers. Now, with the third and final tiger swipe for the first set, what we have to do is play it, let it resolve, get all our tigers back, and now we're free to break the chain. So what this allows us to do is start with a bunch of tigers, play our ancestral harmonies. All right, chain gets broken, it's fine. We get our tiger swipe somewhere in here, right? And then we get to bonds again, get another tiger swipe again somewhere in here. Oh, they go first, that's perfect. But yeah, this is basically how we get even higher damage. We play our 3 tigers, we then break the chain, maintain a whole plethora of tigers to then restart it with 2 more tiger swipes. Technically, you could get a third one in there, but that's over the top and altogether would require more setup than what I've already planned. Again, it's possible, definitely over 2 turns with insane RNG over 1 turn, right? Again, you don't need the Amulet of Assertiveness if you have Ancestral Harmony, but at the same time, with how it currently works in Talishar, you technically don't need Ancestral Harmony if you have the amulets, but you know, we take 2 Ancestral Harmony, we take the 2 Amulets of Oblation. God, I hate that word. I should look it up, right? And then you play the combo how I've played it every other time, right? Again, in a single turn, you'll have more than enough cards in hand to still achieve this, right? You can then do your Tiger shenanigans. You could then cycle it back with the amulets and play Ancestral Harmony. Break the chain, have a plethora of tigers, and then extend it by 2 more tiger swipes, right? So you do lose a little bit of tigers, but then you gain a lot more tigers. So it works out, and I've got a bunch of damage to do. All right, first round tigers. So now we get to tiger swipe, and we get to regain 60 crouching tigers. Yeah, finally. We're almost to the summit. We can see the horizon, and we have way more tigers than we could possibly ever need. I crushed it. I crashed Talishar. Right, I can't pass. I'm spamming the spacebar. Yeah, okay. So it wasn't designed to handle, how many would that be? 60, was it 66 by 2? We had 68, right? 3 other crouching tigers. 1 was tiger swipe, so that's 64. So there was 100 and it would be 128 tigers. I wonder if I refresh, but I think it can't handle that many cards in hand. Yeah. Okay, here we go again, but with a little extra oomph. So we'll get rid of the 12 petal, just so I don't have to deal with the prompt, right? Then we can activate the stubbies. And since we've stacked the deck, we can tiger. Opponent's not going to block, so we can use our 2 Amulets of Assertiveness to hit the other 2 tiger swipes, which is fantastic. Pass. Again, they shouldn't be banished, right? It's only banished if it hits when this hits, which is also an interesting thought because, you know, maybe your opponent lets it through in case you miss. But yeah, so 3 tiger swipes, crouching tigers, a bit more extra damage, so hopefully we don't end up crashing Talishar due to hand size. I'm gonna full-heartedly assume it was due to hand size. But anyway, I've got a bunch of tigers to play. Game. This one we can't quite get out of. So my guess is there's a limit to the chain links as well. Probably 100. Okay. I'm not redoing it again, just to think up a way to get around this. Yeah, no. We gotta finish this, right? The game doesn't want us to use too many tigers? Fine. We'll up the damage. The game wants us to break the chain? Okay. I'll set up. I'll take 1 more turn to put a healing potion into play. Okay. 1 more time, right? This tiger swipe should be the 90th chain link in a row, which means that technically playing all these tigers right now shouldn't break the game per the chain link. We've gone over hand size breaking Talishar. So I'm hoping if I just end with the healing potion now, you know what, we'll go a bit further, right? So this will be 91. I'll go all the way to 99. Okay, this is the 99th chain link, right? So the amount of tigers we have is less than the current chain links. Meaning if we use an action, I'll just have a healing potion. I've added an extra turn to it, right? We use this, chain link goes away, and we should be okay here to now KO the Talishar dummy. Tiger to go. And is there an end screen? We did it. We beat the Talishar bots with 2 whole tigers to spare. 4 turns, right? So turn 1 was using the healing potion. Right, I needed something to break the chain link so that we didn't crash Talishar. Turn 2 was the 4 amulets, the 2 assertiveness and the 2 oblednation, whatever that word is. And then the third one was mind state, another amulet since we're running stubbies this time because we had to get around too many tigers in hand, right? And then cash out, and then 1 card in the arsenal. And then finally turn 4, 245 cards played, 2,600 damage dealt, 167 damage per card. Yeah. Well worth it. I hope you enjoyed. This was fun to theorycraft, right? Having an objective in mind. Having to think outside the box again. That is something to really push for Flesh and Blood, right? There are so many cards at this point in time, and a lot of cards have these really interesting dynamic uses that LSS have done very well to keep in check. But we're getting so close to just breaking through that. And assertiveness could actually be something, you know, a little bit nice to pressure in Zen. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. See ya.